This is music from Ghana, but I don't sing. So I am supposed to give the translation, and I don't speak Danish, so I'm going to tell you my story. Many years ago, along the west coast of Africa, there was a huge migration of peoples from present-day Nigeria who settled in Accra as we know it now. Mythology had it that these were people of the sea, and their women were beautiful mermaids called Mamiwata. Their tranquil existence was shattered one early morning by huge tall ships flying strange red flags with white stripes, and fair-haired people with very different language and mannerisms. The king of the Gar people summoned his people for consultations and decided that these people looked friendly enough and should be welcomed. Thus began this first interaction of Europe with West Africa. All was well between these two groups as more arrived from Europe. Ni Ajiri, an elder and translator for the Gar King, drove a very forward-thinking plan. One, he said, let's require visas for these immigrants to restrict mass migration of Europeans to plunder our resources. Two, get Europeans to pay a tax on all goods being exported. And three, restrict socializing between the male Europeans and the mermaids who, in his mind, as defenders and warriors of their people, must not be compromised. The most beautiful mermaid of them all was a woman called Natre, who, legend has it, had the most elegant tail, smooth scaled skins, and had the most voluptuous figure across the entire western coast of Africa. In the ancient fort of Christiansborg, which still stands in Accra today, lived a charming prince who fell madly in love with this mysterious woman who saved his life. In the shipwreck, ultimately, this love affair went nowhere. Her love was unrequited, and the prince, through ignorance of her devotion to him, and to some extent selfishness, exploits her. The prince marries another woman, and eventually Natre dies. Her death forever alters the relationship between her people and the kingdom to which the prince belongs. Now, you all think this story was first written by Hans Christian Andersen. But no, this mythology has existed with the Gar peoples for millennia. The vestiges of colonial rule can be seen across our continent, with varying degrees of success and failure. That beautiful mermaid who sacrificed herself and her identity for unrequited love is our Africa. She has embraced the kingdom of the prince and given of herself, even to her death. As we gather here to celebrate Africa and its diaspora, let us not forget that the descendants of that first European colony at Christiansborg have just voted in a center-right government, and the writers seem to have undue influence all across Europe. Let us not forget that we are old friends from distant lands. Let us not forget that Natre sacrificed her standing in society for that first love of the European. We need understanding based on our shared history. I am hoping that this comprehensive and excellent exhibition by the Louisiana will go some ways in showcasing Africa in a very different light. And at this point, I would like us to give a huge round of applause to Louisiana Museum for this incredible exhibition. As an African architect based in Accra, Ghana, we are grappling with issues of identity in describing our built and cultural spaces. Today we celebrate the imaginative works of people such as Francis Kere, who's amongst us here, Kunle Adeyemi, David Ajay, and others. I've just met a young, wonderful architect from Zimbabwe, Maxwell, and there's a new generation of very innovative voices that we need to celebrate even more. But we must remember that these are the descendants of their trees who have imbued in them that creative spirit ever present on the continent, but oft forgotten nor supported. For the first time in my living memory, there are African artists, architects, musicians, and other creatives who can engage at the highest level and have the work to prove, to show for it. We in Africa also need to recognize these amazing talents who, like the kente cloth I wear here, may be from a colonial construct like Burkina Faso, Ghana, Mali, Senegal, Benin, Togo, but have a shared heritage that weaves us all together into this unique tapestry of cultures. The Louisiana Museum invited me a few months ago to discuss this exhibition, and I was very impressed with the quality and the research and the exhibits in general. But I immediately sent an SOS to my colleagues in Africa. Folks, we must sit up. Friends, I thank you for taking me through this incredible visual journey of my continent. Sometimes it takes an outsider to show you what you take for granted. Let's work together and collaborate more in mining this treasure trove, which is Africa. Let us make Naatre believe again. I must thank the Louisiana, again, Director Paul Eric, Matthias Seberg. Matthias, thanks very much. Kel Kelson, Ann Schmidt-Peterson, Marianne Arensberg for extending this invitation to me. But I must give a very special thank you to my two African friends I met on the last trip, who actually work at the Louisiana. Clement from Burundi, and he's not here. Primus, you are here from Cameroon. Primus, where are you? Thank you so much for giving me that African touch on my last visit here. Friends, let us make Naatre believe again. Thank you very much.